Welcome to this channel. My name is Abdullah Saeed. I am a professor of Islamic studies at the University of Melbourne. Today we'll explore the historical critical method briefly. We'll look at what it is, its key assumptions and principles, how it's applied to the Bible, and whether it can be applied to the Qur'an. We'll also discuss Muslim objections to this method and aspects of it that might still be relevant to studying the Qur'an. What is the historical critical method? The historical critical method is a tool used to study texts by understanding their historical and cultural origins. Scholars use it to answer questions like, who wrote this text? When and where was it written? What was happening in the world at that time? How has the text been transmitted or edited over time? How has the text evolved over time? This method treats religious texts as historical artifacts, exploring their human origins and the context in which they were written. The goal is not to undermine their spiritual or religious significance, but to uncover how they were shaped by historical events, cultural norms, and the perspectives of their authors. The historical critical method to the Bible emerged in the West during the Enlightenment, influenced by Renaissance humanism and Protestant Reformation ideals. Western scholars applied reason, textual analysis, and historical inquiry to treat the Bible as a historical document, focusing on its authorship, context, and development, distinct from purely theological interpretations. What are some of the key assumptions of the historical critical method? Let me mention some key assumptions. First, texts are historical products. This means religious texts, like all writings, are shaped by the times and places in which they were written. Second, human authorship. This means texts are composed or compiled by human authors, whose perspectives, beliefs, and intentions influence the content. Third, textual evolution, which means texts often develop over time, undergoing processes of oral transmission, written documentation, editing, and compilation. Fourth, the same methods used to study secular historical documents can be applied to religious scriptures. Fifth, past events occurred in ways consistent with observable patterns of human history today. So there is no major difference between human behavior now and in the past. How is historical critical method often used? Let me summarize. Understanding the political, social, and cultural background during the text's composition. Identifying different sources or traditions that might have been combined to create the text. This is called source criticism. Analyzing the literary forms and genres within the text, such as poetry, law, or parables, to understand their purpose, otherwise known as form criticism. Examining how editors, redactors, shaped the final form of the text to reflect specific theological or ideological goals. This is known as redaction criticism. Comparing different manuscripts to reconstruct the earliest version of the text and identify later changes. This is known as textual criticism. How is the historical critical method applied to the Bible? The historical critical method has been used to analyze the Bible by examining its historical context, authorship, sources, and textual development. For example, scholars identified multiple traditions in the various books of Old Testament, such as the Yahwist and priestly sources, and analyzed the Gospels for their historical reliability and theological intentions. This approach reveals the Bible's evolution, its reflection of cultural influences, and its adaptation to address the needs of various communities over time. This method helps clarify how the Bible was shaped over time, how it addressed the needs of different communities, and how its theological ideas evolved. Can the historical critical method be applied to the Qur'an? Many Muslims would say no, but some Muslim scholars say yes, but they recognize there are significant challenges and limitations. The Qur'an is fundamentally different from the Bible in several ways. Muslims believe it is the Word of God, revealed directly to the Prophet Muhammad and preserved unchanged since its compilation shortly after his death. What are some of the common Muslim objections to the historical critical method? First, Muslims believe the Qur'an is the eternal and uncreated Word of God. The historical critical method's assumption of human authorship conflicts with this belief. Secondly, unlike the Bible, the Qur'an is believed to have been preserved exactly as revealed, leaving little room for the study of textual evolution. The Qur'an is connected with just one person, Prophet Muhammad, and it was put together within a couple of decades after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. Third, questioning traditional Muslim accounts of the Qur'an's compilation or suggesting multiple sources for the Qur'an can be seen as disrespectful or even hostile to Islamic beliefs. Fourth, the Qur'an's structure and self-referential nature make it less amenable to techniques like source criticism or redaction criticism. Are there aspects of the method that could be applied to the Qur'an? Despite these objections, certain elements of the historical critical method can enhance understanding of the Qur'an without challenging its sacred status. For example, studying the social and cultural environment of 7th century Arabia helps clarify the Qur'an's responses to specific challenges and its guidance for that time. Exploring the Qur'an's language and literary style can deepen appreciation for its eloquence and rhetorical power. Examining how the Qur'an engages with earlier scriptures, such as the Torah and Gospel, can shed light on its universal message and dialogue with previous revelations. Understanding how the Qur'an addressed the immediate needs of the early Muslim community can illuminate its timeless principles. The historical critical method is a valuable tool for studying religious texts like the Bible. It can help uncover their historical development, diverse authorship, and cultural influences. While applying this method to the Qur'an presents challenges, elements of it can provide useful insights into the historical context, linguistic features, and intertextual relationships of the Qur'an. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more lectures and videos on the Qur'an and Qur'an-related modern debates and issues. Don't forget to subscribe and join me in the next video for more insights.